Just floor it! Oh my God! Hello again, YouTube, and welcome back to Just Get a Tesla. And you might be thinking, where on earth is he? Well, I am here in my loaner Model 3. And the reason why I am laid back is that the seat keeps doing exciting things like lying back completely flat. The reason why I'm in this and not my Model Y is that currently that is in Aberdeen getting fixed. And Tesla haters and EV haters, go watch that video because it talks about a design flaw with Tesla. You heard it, a design flaw. You lot can excite yourselves to a frenzy talking about the fact that a car has had an issue that's been dealt with very, very quickly and fuss-free. Things like car recalls never, ever, 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 ever happen with petrol and diesel, do they? Anyway, I am here in this Model 3 loaner while my car is having the hinges fixed on the boot. So if you haven't seen that video, go and watch that one after you've seen this one. But I wanted to borrow something different, not what I've currently got. And I'm in this Model 3. And what we need to talk about is, what has this car got that mine hasn't? And why is it that this genuinely could be a whole lot of fun secondhand? One thing that I should probably point out early on is that obviously that is my GoPro mount. That isn't part of the car. So this is a late 2020 Model 3. That means that it has got the old center trim. And what's the best way I've got of describing this? Bobbins. To use some good Lancashireisms. You've got this flipping lid thing, which actually you've got to be very gentle with if you want it to stay where it is. Okay, you've then got, I assume there's supposed to be battery chargers in there, but they've been taken out. But okay, whatever. It's genuinely not as good as the refreshed one. Yes, you've still got a big bin there to put things in, fine, but it's not as good as the refreshed one. As a car, it's still got loads and loads of light inside it, so it's definitely more cramped than my Model Y. Well, of course it is, because the seats are on the floor rather than up on risers like in mine, and the roof is much lower, although there's still, look, bags and bags and bags and bags of room, and I'm what, 5'10". There is obviously narrower windows because, well, it's a smaller car, but there's loads of light in here, and again, it's because of the fact you've got this big glass roof. It's split into two, so you've got front bit and a back bit, which is different obviously to the Model Y where it's just one big piece. But other than that, it's absolutely fine. This car obviously is heading for 3 years old now. It still feels absolutely rock solid. It's still under warranty actually, because it's done 48,000 miles. Mine won't still be under warranty when it gets to 3 years old. I will have burned through that fairly quickly, and no, I'm not bothered. It's fine. Other than that, you've still got the same brilliant forward view out in terms of, I'm sat here, there's lots and lots of window space, and the steering wheel and the pedal boxes are perfectly lined up. It's just smaller, and I am going to have to go in the back now to show you what I mean by smaller. First of all, I've got to duck my head to get out a little bit because, well, yeah. And then if I get into the back, and it is a bit of a clunk to get into the back. What's the main thing? That's been doing that all day. What's the main thing that I note about being sat here in the back like this? Well, first of all, there's still okay headroom, but it's not quite as good. If you're a bit taller than me, you're going to struggle. In a piece of movie magic in the edit, I've just taken the GoPro mount off because I was going to bang my noggin on it. There is definitely less space in the back, but I have got decent knee room. Okay, decent knee room. The problem I've got is foot room, so there's very little room to get my boots under the driver's seat. So I've got the seat set where I'd have it for me, and that's absolutely fine. But obviously other people, if you're a bit taller, it's going to be further back. It's going to intrude in more. So it's absolutely fine back here. And we did look at getting one, but the Y was just better in almost every way. And then of course, if you go and have a look at the back, and that, oh God, and that really is a dip trying to get out from underneath it. This is a, like I said, a 2021, so it's not got power boot, which is I've not had a non-powered tailgate or boot for quite a while, so suddenly going back on something where you've got to push it up and down is a little bit different. But there is actually quite a lot of space in there. I mean, that does go back, you know, it does go back quite a long way. So there's plenty of room in there to put stuff. It's just not as good as my hatchback. And then to close it, of course, you've then got to pull it and give it a shove. Of course, being relatively lightweight, that does mean that it's not going to snap its actually rather massive hinges the way that my Model Y did. What else? As I said, I don't think the chrome looks anything like as good as the darker versions that you get on the newer cars. Same thing for the front. Chrome, it's okay, it's nothing special, but yeah, would I have one? No. But what we have to talk about are the features that this car's got that my Model Y doesn't, and those are acceleration boost and enhanced autopilot. I had to play with those earlier. Okay, we are in. This is only actually my second time in a Model 3. I did a test drive in one. It's certainly more cramped than my Model Y, let's put it that way. So we need to sort some of the things out with, how can I put this? The steering wheel is completely in the wrong place, so let's move the steering wheel. So shift that up because that's ridiculous. I think also I need to move it in. Thank you. The seat's in a crazy position. When I got in, it was all the way reclined. And I do mean all the way reclined. Somebody had been having a party, man, in this car. Right, okay, that'll probably do. And then we will go hit save, close that. We'll go to mirrors. So again, left-hand side mirror. I mean, that's ridiculously down. So I'm literally just using the scroll wheel on the steering wheel, and that puts it up to something a wee bit more sensible. Then we'll go and do the one on the right. The one on the right is actually okay. Maybe up a little bit, nothing dramatic. Yeah, that's okay. So let's have a look at what we have got, shall we? We have got a Model 3 dual motor long range, hang on, with 48,000 miles on it. Ooh, enhanced autopilot included package. Ooh, acceleration boost included package. Interesting. This is going to be lethal. Let's just double check though. If we're going to autopilot, so auto steer beta is turned on. You've now got this option to have single pull and double pull. If you put single pull onto autopilot activation, it will give you literally one hit on the stalk and it comes on. The problem is, if you change lanes, it then knocks it off again. Acceleration, yeah, set to sport. That does show the acceleration boost on. Steering mode, standard, stopping mode, hold right. Okie dokie. Okay, so let us get out of here. So we're going to go around to here and then, oh my god! And that wasn't even full throttle. That wasn't even full throttle. So we're going to go basically up here a little bit further, and then we are, if it'll give it me, we are going to go on to the fast link, and then we're going to take the just floor it. Oh my god. That's absurd. That is genuinely bonkers. I don't actually know why you need that much power. Really, I don't know why you need that much power. But okay. We're going to have a bit of fun with that a few times. So this is the Model 3 dual motor with the acceleration boost. So it's not a performance, but it's not far off it. Those people who've got a performance, let me know in the comments how often you give it the beans. Because genuinely, that's my question now. How often are you banging it on to the point of absolute madness? Because that much power, I can understand why it'd be intoxicating, but it also feels a little bit dangerous. Just a little bit dangerous. And apologies if the camera setup or the sound or anything isn't up to my usual quality. Quite simply, I have just shoved the kit in as quick as possible because I absolutely have to get home. We are coming to the end of the Fastlink section onto the western peripheral route, where I'm going to swing north and head towards the North Pole. Regen is not as strong as I was expecting it was going to be honest. I think that my Model Y brakes a little harder, although it's possible that the battery is still a bit cold. It is 6 degrees. 6 degrees, by the way, is practically tropical compared to what we've had, genuinely. So let's have a bit of fun with this. We're going to get going straight. So I'm doing 38 miles an hour. Okay, so what have we learned? Basically, acceleration boost in a car that's already fast is a bit mental. Truly a bit mental. What else have I noticed so far about this? Oh, hello! Oh no, poor weather detected. It was about to go on to navigate on autopilot, and it's detected poor weather, as in the rain, and it's not letting me. So let's hope the weather improves a little bit so I actually get to test this feature, because at the moment I've still got the 2 lines on the screen. You can see it's trying. I've got the 2 lines on the screen, which is normal autopilot. I do know that if it goes on to one of the more enhanced versions, then you get a centre line down the middle. So let's hope that it's kind of eases off a little bit and then we can have that, because we can see perfectly. Visibility is great. The last video I did, the thumbnail shows me coming down over this viaduct and there's mist everywhere. So visibility's fine. It's not like it was then. Let's get on with it, please. And it keeps popping up with all kinds of it's not error messages, it's basically alerts because of some delivery thing at the Edinburgh service centre. Now, I've not even picked it up from Edinburgh, I picked it up at Aberdeen. Well, there's a whole load of things that obviously haven't been cleared. This is literally just a loner. So we need to change lanes. I'm still on standard autopilot. Ooh, it's not doing auto cancelling for some reason. So we're cruising along at 70 miles an hour on the dual carriageway on standard autopilot. The weather is not good enough to allow enhanced. Boo. Let's see if it stops raining. That would probably help. What are the things that I noticed that's different about my Model Y? Well, to start off with, obviously, you are much lower down. The seats in the Model Y are up on risers, and on this car they're just sat on the floor, and you really can tell the difference. Getting in and out of the car especially, you really tell the difference. What else? It's still got the same brilliant light area. Obviously the windows are lower on the sides there. There's less glass because there's less height, so there's less light coming out of those, and it does feel a little bit more confined than the Y, but you still have got this glass roof, albeit with a joint in the middle. So it's still a nice environment, but it is definitely smaller than the Y. And when we test drove this car, well, a Model 3 at least, when we test drove this car, we had exactly the same experience, which was nice but a little small. And I know some people say, why are you driving a big car? Well, I've got kids and I transport loads of stuff, so I do use the space some of the time, which is why I've got a car that at least has got some space in it. This is a little bit too confined for me, but it's still a nice place to sit. The seat is comfortable, the view out is great, the pedals and the steering wheel are perfectly aligned with the seat. There are so many car manufacturers who don't get the basics like that right. So I am still hopeful that the rain is going to lift enough to be able to use it, but I don't think it is. So I've got a car with EAP that I can't actually utilise. So this is Santa mode, where you replace the car with Santa on his sleigh and 2 of the reindeer, and you basically go along the road. And I'm not going to do it now because I don't need to, but when you indicate you get jingle bell noises. In fact, wow, can you hear the wind? I can certainly feel the wind. And it says strong winds forecast from the southeast. Yeah, you're not kidding. All I can say is, I'm glad it's not a day when I'm flying to London like I was this time or last week. I think that could have been quite entertaining. Oh dear. I note that this car doesn't have auto-cancelling indicators like mine does. I'm not sure if that's something in the settings. Note that the other car is also down as a reindeer. It's got to be said, I think Elon Musk is a bit of a child with some of the ideas. Yeah, it's much better this morning. It is still wet, obviously, so we'll be careful of standing water, but it's not blatting it down with rain, and the wind has largely gone away. So it's much better. We're also going to go the twistier route to Ellen to join the dual carriageway south. I am not going to take the road through Mintlaw. Let's take the twistier route just to have a bit of fun. So I'm enough of a child to think that having Santa on is a good thing. Other people may disagree. So just out of interest, if I now do a double pull, okay, so that looks like standard autopilot still, so we'll knock that off and we'll have a play with it as we go later. But it's got this white graphic down the middle, which I don't remember being there previously. One thing to note is that this car runs a standard on 18-inch wheels versus the 19-inch on mine. These feel better, so the ride is not dramatically less jiggly, but it is less jiggly, so I can feel the difference, and that's just from driving it, what, for an hour or so yesterday? No, an hour and a half yesterday, and obviously I've been going now for 5 minutes or so this morning. The ride is better than in a Y, it just is. Okay, we are going to Christmas mode is on, hence the jingle bells. We are going to take the fast road, the twisty road, not the main road. So pull it onto the straight, 23 miles an hour, absolutely floor it, and it doesn't even scrabble for grip. It doesn't even scrabble for grip, it just throws you at the horizon. We're going to do that again in a minute, because we're going to come up, we've got a couple of bends, and then there's a bit where again I can absolutely hurl it towards the horizon. The acceleration boost, just for that initial first thump, is intoxicating. It really does turn this car into a lethal weapon. Hopefully not lethal, but for those of you who have been around and seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. I don't think regen is as strong in this as it is in my Model Y. I don't think so. Wow. Now, according to some people, if I was to drive through standing water like that, I would drown the battery and fail the car, and I'd have to pay £1 million to replace it. And as usual, it's nonsense. Don't believe everything you read on the internet, guys. Do your own research, because people are lying to you. Okay, and 33 miles an hour. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. You know, it's that level of acceleration is, you know, I'm a Trekkie. This is warp speed, right? This car has got warp drive, because it warps my brain in accelerating quicker than I can almost comprehend. I'm still taking it gently round the bends because the road is wet, right? And it's been icy, so let's just be careful. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to roll down here gently. When I clear this crest, I'm doing 50. let's just nudge it forward a touch. So we've seen what acceleration's like from 20 and from 30. What's it like from 50? It's still brutal. I mean, it's still an absolute punch in the head. There is something faintly ludicrous, let's be honest, faintly ludicrous about this car having this much power. Yeah, alright, I think my Y has got very similar, and by the way, I am absolutely going to put the acceleration boost on the Y. Wifey drives it in chill mode all the time, so she won't notice. Again, I've just driven through standing water. Water flying up on both sides of the car. The battery is fine. You can drive through water without killing the car. Which is a good job, because today I don't have a choice other than to drive through standing water. I suspect there's going to be patches of it all over the place. We're not quite lined up straight. It's straight the other way around, but it's not this way. But now we're straight here. The slightest little bit of torque steer there through 50, and that could be because it's wet. The slightest little bit. There are actually puddles of standing water, so we'll slow it back down on here. And it's off the fields, actually. The fields are sodden. The rain yesterday, when I picked this car up and drove it home, the rain yesterday was biblical. At one point, I think I was about to be overtaken by Noah. Again, the tarmac here looks less grippy than the other stuff. I've only been flooring it where I can actually see the grain of the tarmac, so I know I've got grip. Less so here, so we're not going to floor the throttle in Lethal Weapon, just in case it does get lethal. I've said in the past about, could we have a family version of the car that just turns all the motors down? It would drop the insurance bans, if nothing else. And maybe less so on the Model 3, because this car is more cramped, okay? It's definitely got less space in the back. I find it actually a squeeze headroom-wise to get in and out of the back. But this is perfectly suitable for a whole load of families, and you just do not need 912 horsepower or whatever on earth this car's actually got. It feels like it. It feels like something absolutely ludicrous. And I think that when people talk about insurance groups and things, they're thinking that this is a comparator car to, I don't know, a BMW 320D. Oh no, you can't buy diesels anymore. BMW 320, right? And it isn't. This is faster than what? How fast a car do you have to get this level of acceleration? It's, you know, you're paying for supercar acceleration. That's why it's expensive to insure. Again, having to take it nice and steady because we've got puddles of standing water after yesterday's rain. I am though hoping that when we get down onto the dual carriageway, the EAP is going to behave and we can have a bit of fun learning about that. Yeah, regen is not as good. I know the battery's on 73%, but regen isn't quite as strong as it is in mine. Again, I can't chuck the thing around bends just because the roads are absolutely sodden. It would be, even with all-wheel drive, it would not be sensible to be doing that. But what I can say is that grip is really good. Obviously, it's all-wheel drive. You really can push the thing on through the bends and feel exactly what's going on. I have got great steering wheel feel. As I said, I can feel through the seat, as well as through the my hands and my feet on the pedals. I know exactly what's going on, and because there's such a good glass area, I don't feel like I'm struggling to be able to see anything that's coming behind me or anything like that. So, as a driver's as a driver's car, as something to absolutely hoon it across country, you could have an enormous amount of fun in this. And I'm not thrashing it because it's too wet. But, you know, I can put the power down through the bend and it just laughs. It says, no problem at all. Please give me more. I can take it. One thing is clear, going this way does bypass the Toller-Burness junction, which increasingly seems to be mad and dangerous. Talking about mad and dangerous, look at the car on the embankment up here, right? Look at that. How on earth did he manage to get that up there? How fast was he going down the road to be able to ram it that high up the embankment? I really was hoping that we would be able to do some enhanced autopilot testing, but it's knocked itself off because of the weather. And it's the same thing as we had yesterday. The weather, unfortunately, just isn't good enough to be able to test it properly. Right, I am back at Tesla dropping off. That was a lot of fun. So if you're thinking about a Model 3 used, that's got to be a good car to get, surely, because you tell me where you're going to get that much performance for the same money. Really? You're not. Just get a Tesla. And on that happy note, I'll see you very soon on the next video. So don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon, all the usual stuff. You know all of that already. See you soon.